Welcome back. I was thinking that today we could do another little tour of the garden, except that this time I'm just going to focus on the fruiting plants, the vines, the trees, all of that. So let's get into it. First up are the grapes. Now I really enjoy looking at grapevines. I like how they look, I like how they grow, I like how the fruit hangs off the plants, and that's why I have around 4 or 5 grapevines. This is the first one that's up. This is a Pock variety. Here I have a bigger Carlos Plus variety. This one's an Isons Plus. This is my oldest grape. I don't really know what variety it is, but it still hasn't woken up. Finally, this is a really cool grape. This isn't a muscadine. I like to grow muscadines because they're well suited for this hot tropical weather. However, this one is just a regular fox grape, which is the grapes that they grow up north for like Concord's juice and such. I saw that they had this one Aldi's, and I thought, for $6 I might as well. And it's been growing pretty well. It actually even has some little fruits here. Over here in the sunny corner, we have a nice large papaya tree, which I think just really looks cool. An equally sun-loving plant is this Mewa kumquat, which also gets a lot of sun. It produced some kumquats this year. Now next to that is one of my favorite trees that I have planted here. This is a fairly rare Eugenia. It's a Eugenia lushcanathiana. They call it Pitomba do Baia because it's from the Baia region of Brazil. This one I've had for around a year, and this is the first time that it flowers. Those flowers are just opening now. Now what's interesting about this tree is that it produces a lot of small orange fruits that actually look and taste really similar to apricot. So I'm really excited to try these fruits later this year. Here I have one of the newest additions to the garden. This is a red custard apple of the San Pablo variety. These trees, even though they're fully tropical, they do go dormant for the winter. The fruits that they produce are really nice and big. They supposedly taste something like raspberry cheesecake, so I'm really excited to try this fruit. I've got this small Mexican lime, which is actually flowering. On this wall, we've got this little miracle-berry tree, which it produces a fruit that actually has an interesting property and makes everything sour that you taste sweet. On the other side of this door, I have most of my fruit trees, so let's go take a look at those. In this little clearing, I have this Christmas loquat tree, which is a delicious fruit that looks and tastes something like an apricot. These are really tropical, but you can still grow them even in Zone 9. But they do prefer tropical conditions like we have here in Zone 11. Next to that is this Eugenia. I forget which species this is. I'll put it on the screen alongside a picture of the fruit. But this one I bought recently. I actually unboxed it in one of my videos, which you can find that. It's been doing well, but right now it's a little dry. This tree loaded with fruit is none other than the Suriname cherry. These were once a really popular hedge in South Florida. However, they've actually, since the 80s, they've been being phased out because they're actually really invasive. But healthy ones produce a lot of these small fruits. They're really weird because they're sweet, they're a little tart, but they mostly taste like bell pepper. I don't really like them. Most people don't really like them. That's why there's so many in the ground. Closer to this wall, I have this massive coconut tree. It's just a coconut that I found on a trash pile in the park. And I decided, you know what, I like coconuts, so I took it home and planted it. But they just really grow well in the tropical heat and sun. So it's grown so much in just a year. I also got these blueberries, which I purchased recently. The flowers smell really good. There's some more flowers there. I'm pretty sure these are gonna turn into fruits, but there's already some larger fruits there. The lady that I bought these from told me that these are a Windsor variety. I'm not sure which species. Supposedly it's a high bush species, but they just don't look much like high bush blueberries. And I didn't even know that you could grow blueberries this far south. So I was really amazed by this. This tree's got even more massive blueberries. Look at the size of these. These are the biggest blueberries I've ever seen. And these are big trees too. I bought these each for $30, which is great because they're in like 7-gallon pots. Now this huge lemon tree is actually the oldest tree I've planted at this house since we moved in about 3 years ago. It's over 12 feet tall, but it doesn't actually have very many lemons. It has one. Like the kumquat, it also has a lot of pests, a lot of diseases. Look at that. But it's still growing really fast actually. Next to that, I have a variegated pink lemon, a really bushy pomegranate, one of my favorite trees that produces one of my favorite fruits, a mame sapote tree, but it's looking worse for wear, a white guava tree, a satsuma mandarin tree that produced 2 big fruits last year, some small strawberries, and this flowering star fruit tree that I bought for $10. One of the biggest fruit trees we've got is this keep mango tree, which I made a video about. It's loaded with mango, absolutely loaded with mango. Loaded! I love these mangoes. They didn't produce last year, so I'm really excited to get some fresh mangoes this year. I also have this small avocado, which is a lila variety, which I planted here a while ago, but it hasn't really grown or anything, and it's not flowering or anything like that. We've also got this really big lychee tree that for the first time in 4 years, it's actually producing some lychees. This branch has a few more, but still doesn't have very many. Back in the yard, we've got this ever-bearing mulberry with some ripe fruit. This baby American persimmon that finally woke up after its 5-month nap. A red mulberry that's also waking up. And another tropical tree. This is a mamon tree, or ganap tree, if you call it that. It's pretty small, but it's grown a lot since we got it. Now over here are a lot of trees that I've actually grown from seed. This is a seed-grown avocado tree, a lot of seed-grown coffee plant, a seed-grown mamey tree, which is looking worse for wear, seed-grown mamey apple tree, ice cream bean, some black sapotes, star apple, and here's a tiny rollinia. Well, that just about concludes the tour. I've still got a lot of trees over there, but those are a lot smaller. If you guys are interested in watching those, you can leave a comment or anything, and I'll probably make a video on those, as well as how I propagate seeds and how I grow my fruit trees and maintain them. So thank you for watching, and that's about it. Bread nuts.